All right. So my name is Ashely Oeser. I'm on the public policy team here at New York Farm Bureau. My boss, Jeff, will be joining me as well. But today I'm going to just give an overview on Farm Bill, kind of what's happening, where we are, and where we hope things will be soon. Okay. So kind of just an overview of what the Farm Bill is, and I'm not sure, and I apologize, I'm not sure that what people know about the Farm Bill, so I'll just kind of give a brief overview just to kind of get everybody on the same page. So the Farm Bill is a comprehensive legislative package that contains funding for programs that impact agriculture and nutrition. And in a couple of later slides, I'll talk about how those are broken down and why they're very important to keep those together. Sometimes people don't think that the Farm Bill is, you might just see farmers and SNAP is the other big, large majority of the Farm Bill, that they should be connected, but they should be. They're very important together. So the Farm Bill is renewed by Congress every 5 years. This Farm Bill originated actually in the 1930s with FDR, part of the New Deal package, and so it gets renewed every 5 years. And so when it expires at the end of the year, which it expired at the end of September, we start to hit some of these cliffs. You'll hear, like dairy cliffs or whatever. And so we try to avoid those, obviously. So the first date that it expired was September 30th, 2023, which, if you all remember, was the same time that Speaker McCarthy was voted out. So it was a little bit of chaos in DC at the time, but they were able to sort things out, and we now have a new speaker, Mike Johnson from Louisiana, and we have heard that he has been very excited and eager to take on getting a Farm Bill done soon. He's very, pro-agriculture, obviously, and so we're just really excited that, there's going to be some great working relationships happening there. We are on an extension right now, and that is set to expire next Friday, I believe that is the 17th. And so there's a lot of questions as, what does that mean for the Farm Bill? Where are we going? And we haven't seen any draft legislation yet as it relates to the Farm Bill, but we have been hearing in the past few days the Ag Committee leadership from both the Senate and the House are indicating that a 1-year extension is needed, hoping to maybe still get a Farm Bill done before. Obviously, that 1 year runs, but they're all kind of on. It sounds like they're all kind of on the same page that we need at least a 1 year, or we need a 1 year extension. So, with next year being the year before an election cycle, what does that mean? Are they going to try to get that done sooner than later? So that's kind of, that was this past week we heard that news. So just kind of waiting to hear, next steps. So the Farm Bill, just kind of how it's structured, it's traditionally broken up into 12 different titles that address different sectors of agriculture and food policy. So those titles are, commodities, conservation, trade, nutrition, which is your SNAP program. You'll hear a lot of people say, the SNAP title. Credit, rural development, research and extension, forestry, energy, horticulture, crop insurance, and miscellaneous. And so here's a pretty good visual, I think, from ASBS as to how the last Farm Bill, the 2018 Farm Bill spending was broken up. So, a large portion of that. So in total, if you look at the whole pie together, it's $428 billion was spent on the 2018 Farm Bill, and 76% of that being the nutrition or the SNAP portion of it. Obviously, you have your other big pieces of that pie, or crop insurance, commodities, and conservation, and the other is, just that 1%. So moving forward, there's a projected $1 trillion Farm Bill over the next 10 years. So there, $1.228 trillion projected. SNAP, again, being even kind of a larger piece of that pie. And then followed by commodity and conservation programs. And it is just, I'll just note it, that crop insurance is not included in that 10-year estimate, like it was in the previous slide. So I will talk about some key players. So these are often referred to as the four corners when it comes to the Farm Bill. So up at the upper top left-hand corner is in the Senate, that's Ag Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow. She has a lot of Farm Bill drafting experience, but this will be her last Farm Bill. She's decided not to run for re-election, so I think she has been very eager to try to get a farm bill done as soon as possible. Right next to her on the right, upper right-hand corner is Ranker John Bozeman. He's from Arkansas, and this is his first farm bill in a senior position. Below, in the lower right-hand corner, I don't know if my mouse will work here, right here is Chairman G.T. Thompson in the House. He's from Pennsylvania. This is also his first farm bill as chair. And then over on the left, lower right or left lower corner is Ranker David Scott from Georgia. So just some interesting facts that I think are important, though. 165 members of Congress who have never worked on a farm bill before. So that's going to be, a learning curve, I think, for everybody. But urban and rural members of Congress care about the farm bill because of, even if you have an urban legislator who might not totally understand the crop insurance piece of it, they understand the nutrition part of it and how important it is to keep them together. So we can provide food for, millions of people. So on the New York delegation and in agriculture, Senator Gillibrand over here, she's the senior member of Senate Ag Committee. And then you have Representative Molinaro right here and Langworthy right here, both junior members on the House Ag Committee. And both New York members of Congress have been hosting farm bill listening sessions just to kind of more boots on the ground as to, what farmers are hearing in their area and, challenges that they're hearing about and things that they would like addressed that, might have the possibility of being introduced in the farm bill. And then in the lower bottom, we have leadership, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. So some overarching priorities for the 2023 Farm Bill. We would like to increase the baseline for Farm Bill program spending, maintain a unified Farm Bill, the nutrition programs and the farm programs together, because then that, it's an important package and we need to just keep it together so the work gets done. Any changes to current farm legislation, be an amendment to the Agricultural Adjustment Act of 1938 or the Agricultural Act of 1949. We asked to prioritize risk management tools, which include both federal crop insurance and commodity programs as top funding priorities, and ensure adequate USDA staffing capacity and technical assistance. I think, staffing is a concern, labor is a concern everywhere, all over the country right now. But we really want to make sure that there's enough staff in USDA to, roll out those programs. We have like the EQUIP programs that are vital to our farmers. And then our top priorities at New York Farm Bureau, because, every state has, our agriculture industry looks different in every state. Some of our big issues are dairy. We're a leading dairy state. We would like to, see some support for the dairy margin coverage program and dairy nutrition. Specialty crops is also unique to us. We do a little bit more than that than maybe the Midwest. Specialty crop block grant program and whole farm revenue protection program. Just support for those programs. Continued support for conservation, but also the urban ag beginning farmers in organic. I think that's also, with New York City and our urban areas, we have a lot of opportunity there to increase urban agriculture. So just to see support for those, and beginning farmers as well, is vital for New York agriculture. And so some other kind of federal ag items that are priority for us and things we have lobbied on: the federal mark milk feeding order reform, which would potentially change the way that milk is priced to the farmers. It's a very complex formula, and so it's we would like to, I think, see some transparency to make it easier for farmers to understand as well. But and if there is a way for dairy farmers to receive a better price for their milk, we would also like to see some immigration reform, climate change and environmental concerns, some regulatory changes and infrastructure, greater access to rural broadband. That's still a concern for a lot of our members. So that's something that we would like to see at the federal side. And then this is kind of, I will just give a kind of brief overview of what we've on the state side. I know it was, more focusing on Farm Bill, but I'll kind of just switch hats quick to the state legislative session. There is, we've been hearing that there's been a report issued that there will be a $9 billion deficit this upcoming year. So, how the state prioritizes budget funding is going to be critical. And so we will continue to be involved in those conversations to make sure that agriculture and the ag industry as a whole is, supported and funded. Some labor concerns, as you know, there's always legislation regarding, either heat standards or farm safety funding. So we'll continue to track those. Agricultural chemical protectants, the neonic bill right now is top of mind. That's a bill that we've lobbied on. Also, the Extended Producer Responsibility Act that would put the onus on packaging from consumers to the producer. So we have some concerns on that from our membership, and also climate goals, just how achievable those goals are and the timelines that are set out currently. So those are just some of our concerns. So that's kind of all I had. Did I miss anything, Jeff?
No, you covered it very well, Ashely. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, this is a chance here. We got some time here, so it's a chance to ask Jeff or Ashely anything.
Like, who's gonna win the football game tonight?
Yeah,
why are the Bills 5-4? Those questions.
Yeah, the important questions.
Exactly.
I'm going to be rooting for the Islanders tonight, but we could always talk about that. But I am wondering, you mentioned and went through the roster of New York representatives that serve on committees and whatnot. Do you find them to be like really responsive to requests and an avenue where things can actually get done? I know sometimes we hear, when we're looking for changes in either policy from USDA or maybe others, I suppose, the answers can be handled within the agency at the state level, and that's a great thing because things can get just worked out. But sometimes the answer is, well, that's a legislative issue, and you really need to go to your representatives. And honestly, that just kills the conversation because people are like, well, obviously that's a dead end. But do you feel like it's not a dead end and that they are responsive to requests and can follow through?
Yeah, I think a great question. I absolutely believe that they have been responsive. We have had a lot of lobby meetings in DC. I went down in April and June, and we met with, we always can get meetings in with all of them. So, they very much want to hear what farmers, what our members have to say, and kind of, what's just happening, boots on the ground here in New York with the agriculture. So, yeah, I would say both parties, have been wonderful and receptive. They definitely hear us and they take it back. Yep. So continue to, I would echo that, reach out to your members of your delegation, whatever district you're in, absolutely reach out to them, and also your senators. We met personally with Senator Gillibrand in June. So great conversations, but yeah, continue to echo meeting, constituents to meet with their members.
And I did briefly answer the question in the chat about the milk packaging issue. You may have heard that a lot of our processors have run against a supply chain issue for half pints, which you usually use for schools, hospitals, nursing homes, more institutional stuff. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but there's one producer of that packaging that produces about 70% of the packaging used for those things in America, and they have run out of packaging. And so we're hearing that there hasn't, well, first of all, we work with Department of Ag and Markets and USDA to establish guidance for school districts so they can use other, hopefully milk products. For example, buying gallons and pouring cups out for kids in cafeterias, things like that. But we needed to get that guidance out to the school districts, which has happened. We're hearing that it'll start to lighten up. It will have more product in early January. And so far, I don't think there's been too much of a shortage. I know, for example, Upstate Niagara bought 5 million cartons from some firm, from some other people in Maryland. So they have a lot on hand. And with Thanksgiving week and then Christmas week, with no school, they're hoping that will, lighten the load as well. So we're definitely on that in working with our processors. has there been discussion about increasing the program caps to 450 in the NRCS programs? Absolutely. That's something that I know our American Farm Bureau is working on. We're working on in concert with them. Don't have a great answer as to what the estimation will be of success rate on that. But again, Ashely mentioned, it's really nice to have, the Senate Majority Leader from New York in the House Minority Leader from New York. So we are well positioned in this country to get things we ask for done. So that's in the works, and I can't help you with CCA credits.
If I
Those
could,
answers make sense?
I do have one last question.
Sure.
Ish, can you expand on that shortfall you mentioned for New York State Ag? Thanks.
Yeah, it's only for half pint cartons for whatever. I don't know no one knows why there's a shortage, or if they do know, they're not sharing it widely. So there's, as schools, for example, buy half pints for cafeterias, there might be less milk as a nutritional beverage to serve in schools, and so that will be easier to handle at Alfred Almond Central School in Allegheny County, where there's 60 kids in each, or less than that now, in each graduating class. And so you can buy gallons of milk and have staff pour cups of milk for kids. In Brooklyn or Queens, where you have 1,500 kids in graduating class, and you're cycling 600 kids through every 20 minutes of cafeteria time for lunch, pouring milk is just not an option. And so there's the guidance I mentioned allows schools to buy or serve other things like water, not juices, or other kinds of milk product if they can get it, because the schools still have to abide by the nutritional guidelines from USDA.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other last minute questions here? I mean, we have plenty of time, but
I just had a quick question in regards again to like the milk shortage, and you might not know this exactly, but is it because of the USDA nutritional guidelines that implementing something like a dispensary that they use in universities? Like at my university, we had like, your chocolate milk, your 2%, your whole, and you just kind of go up there and you get your cup of milk. Is that just something because of those nutrition guidelines? They couldn't put that in the schools where it's using more of that bulk pack?
It's a great question. I don't know if it's according to guidelines. I don't know how many schools have that kind of infrastructure or equipment to pivot to. But on the same token, I know my kids growing up weren't the neatest kids, and so you think about 25 third graders going up to that dispensary, and it's going to create quite a mess. And so I don't even know if school districts would entertain it, but it's a great idea.
Yeah, you might have more on the floor than.
Yeah, I agreed.
definitely see them playing with that.
Yep, I would.
I definitely. Anybody else? Yeah, this has been a very casual, open day of conversation, so no need to be shy. But at the same time, I don't want to hold people here unnecessarily. So I think I gave enough time for people to reach out. And I'm sure Jeff and Ashely that you could you'd be happy to make yourselves available, email or whatever people have.
100%.
Absolutely.
I guess I do want to say one thing. Ashely, mentioned on the state issues about the lack of budget funding for the coming fiscal year. And I just want to let you know that when it comes to soil and water conservation districts, districts are funded primarily through the Environmental Protection Fund. I don't anticipate that going away or being reduced because it's a whole other funding line. So I feel like the districts should be, pretty much at least holding even to last year's funding.
That's good to hear. Well, thank you for the work that you both do. It's very important. And so thank you for that. And thank you for sharing with us today. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording this. Okay, so it's no longer being recorded. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up. So I did post the CCA credits. So if that doesn't work, let me know. I think it should work, but if you have problems, just reach out to me. I want to thank Scott again for organizing this. As we started with this meeting, we're short on board members and people have been on the board for a long time. And so it was, not an obligation for Scott. He stepped up and did it on his own volition. So I appreciate it. He did an excellent job. And speaking of excellent job, all the presenters today, I really appreciate their time and thoughtfulness, and that they stayed on, that they stayed on and answered questions. And I think people could have asked whatever they wanted and they were open to answer that. So that's kind of, risky to put yourself out there, especially it's being recorded, everyone's screens off and that sort of thing. So I appreciate everyone doing that, the presenters today. So thank you for that. I will be processing these videos, and there is a Soil and Water Conservation, an Empire chapter YouTube channel. So if you wanted to go back and get some information, not sure how long it'll take me to process the videos. It should be pretty simple, but let's say next week we'll send out an email with links to the videos if you want to go back and look at them. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye, and we will see you all likely this time next year. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Aaron. Great job.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it.
Hey, Aaron,
Yeah.
could you put the link back up a minute? I stepped away and I missed the CCA.
Oh, I guess I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, here you go. I didn't mean to do that.
That's
Can you see
okay.
it, or do
That
you want
was
to send
me.
it
My bad. I see it. Well, now I have to
out?
open
You
up
see it
my.
now?
Yeah, I just have to open up my app, and now I need my glasses for that. So.
Yeah, mine are solidly on my head here. Yeah, so that'll work though, you think? Because I realize you do the app.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's doing it right now.
Great. So yeah, I'll just leave this up. I didn't realize I stopped sharing that.
Looks like I got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Hey, you too. Is anybody else out there? I can't see.
I think people are getting off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Wendy. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.
I'm still here, Aaron.
Okay. Yeah. Sean, why don't you stay on for a second? Because oh my goodness, I lost. There we go. I don't know what happened, but now everyone came back. So now I can see the people that just walked away from their computers. But that's okay. So I'm going to send you the videos, I guess. I can't remember how we did it before. Didn't you upload them, or maybe I did? I think I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I gave you the YouTube password.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay.
I think it's linked to the Gmail.
Yeah, yep, it is. It's the same account. So
yeah.
Okay, well, I can handle that then. I recorded each thing individually, so that'll make it easier.
Yep, that was smart.
Yeah, I think I learned my lesson from sometime. So anyway, well, thank you for your help today.
Yep.
And we'll talk soon.
Alrighty.
Okay, take it easy. And now it's gonna take me half an hour to figure out how to hang up. So
I'm just gonna hit leave.
okay, see you later.
Bye.
Bye.